Hello there, my little fluffers, and welcome to episode 1 of Crawlhammer X-Quest Season 1. Thank you to everybody who donated to the Patreon in order to get this show, and I hope that it is worth every moment of your pennies. Not that pennies are actually time, but I suppose time is money. Yeah, well, I'm sticking with that, that makes sense. I, Gruffy, Adam, will be your games master as we play through this Silver Tower based adventure. Next to me there will be James, who will be the first person to tell you about his character. Then there will be Chris, then other Chris. Thankfully one is Scottish, which makes things a bit easier. So without any further ado, thank you very much for listening, and I hope you enjoy episode 1 of Crawlhammer X-Quest Season 1.
James, who is your character?
I am playing as the Elven Lawmaster, who is Elfarin. He found himself in the streets of Hammerhall. His only possession's a sword, a tome that he cannot open, and his armour. He has no memories of how he found himself in Hammerhall. His last fragmented remembrances are of a magical ward he and the other Lawmasters were holding, shattering before him and being overwhelmed by the screams of his kin as their souls were devoured. He paid his way by providing protection to merchants' caravans that plied the realm until one night, as he was crossing Shaish, with a warp gem merchant, he heard a whispering voice on the wind calling him into the night, which he set off following.
Okay. Chris number 1.
Do I get to be number 1?
You can be Chris 1 and I'll be Chris A.
Love it.
Alright, Chris point 5. Yeah. Other Chris point 5. Alright, Chris.
I will be playing Stormcast Eternal this evening, a knight of Exilor. In a previous life, he was known as Kincaid von Herzen, who was a son of a nobleman from Stirland. He led the army of Stirland, fought the general and the Elector Count. He did it rather well. His personal pledge was to destroy as many undead as he could physically find, rid Stirland from being the rat-infested swamp that it was, and return it to some of his glory from the former days. However, Manfred von Carstein had different plans when he swooped down, broke the back of his army by raising an ancient zombie dragon and shattering his latest force. It wasn't enough to humiliate Kincaid in defeat, however. He therefore decided to turn Kincaid into a vampire thrall to lead his armies, thus mocking him forever in his quest to kill as many undead. However, upon the shattering of the end times, Kincaid's soul was released, and long has he suffered some good old vengeance. He's ready.
It's smacky time.
Exactly. It's been brewing for a long time. He's got at least a couple hundred years of hatred ready to unleash on whatever he sees tonight. And if there's anything undead in this adventure, I pity it. I really do.
Oh, there's undead. There's undead. And Chris.
I'm playing as the Lord Relictor. In the old times, he was a captain in the Empire who, while defending the far reaches of the Northern Empire, the city of Beckerfen, which was set upon by the forces of chaos, he fought to the last man. He was killed by his brother who had turned to chaos, and then, as he was murdered by him, he was hammered into a new dandy steel body by the Emperor. And now he hates chaos and wants to tear all of their dicks off.
Not just Slaanesh either. All the dicks.
You smash them off at the base.
You wouldn't do it to the followers of Slaanesh because they would probably like that. They'd be like, do it again. You'd be like, nah, you're weird.
I cannot. You only have one penis.
There's a lot of penis.
So, the Silver Tower. It is a crazy place of Zentian mythologies. There are nothing but twisting, turning, crazy passages that veer off at every angle. There is, in front of all of you, a dark passage, and you find yourselves running through it, escaping whatever horror you have discovered in the rooms beyond. You all, 3 of you, run into a single chamber together, see each other for the first time, and wonder, who the hell are you? Before you get even a slightest chance to be able to think, who the hell are you? You get as far as the who before the entire thought is interrupted. For high above the chamber on a balcony, there is a strange, gaunt figure. It is the gaunt summoner of the tower. He is leaning on the balcony, staring down at you with a myriad look of somewhat amusement mixed with a little bit of pretentious, what's the word I'm looking for? Disappointment in all of your shapes and sizes. He looks at you, one Stormcast, two Stormcast, an Elven Lawmaster, and he says, "Good evening, ghouls and boys. Welcome to the Silver Tower. What are you?"
He's pointing directly at me.
He is. I am.
No, it isn't.
It doesn't matter who you are, for I am the godson of this Silver Tower, my little ghouls and boys, because I am the master of the fate, the architecture of all the horrible things that are about to happen to you. Shall we say that from this point forward you have to fight the tower? No? Is that too much? That's too much. Okay, I'll rein it back a little bit. All the gods are watching, you see. I'm trying to make it as entertaining as possible.
You're starting the medieval zone.
I'm sorry, I do believe you mean the medieval zone. Yeah. Baby's got the power, because you gotta fight the tower. Yeah. Now, don't you laugh at me. I'm a creature of gigantic proportions of power. I can turn you into a newt. You'll get better.
I can't unsee Ed Tudor Paul now. Just rinsing around. Climbing on ropes.
They call me Head Taker Tudor Pole.
You chew the pole, alright.
I heard that. I heard that. You dirty, filthy peg. Welcome to the Silver Tower.
I'm sick of listening to him speak. Can I ride the Tempest and stand beside him and twat him with my stick?
No, you
I
can't.
cast lightning
Damn
storm.
you! I want to smite him!
We're all
Just want him dead.
Did all of us just look at our ranged attacks then? I was like,
Shut up! Shut up!
I have a quest for you. You will have a series of rooms that you have to run through inside the tower. It is your choice what rooms you enter. It is going to be a most glorious and hilarious experience to watch you all get ground down to bloody pulps. But I'm a sporting godson. So, if you can get out of all the rooms that you find five crystals.
5 what?
Five crystals.
I'm getting, guys. I don't know you two fine fellows, but I'm getting a twinge of deja vu here. I'm not sure where it's coming from.
On the ether.
And at some point, it'll be deja vu to you. Now, in front of all of these little corridors, and as you look around, you see that there are 5 exits from the chamber that you're in. There are various ways to enter and exit. It is up to you which way you go, but if you need to get these 5 crystals, then you can face me in the Silver Dome!
The Silver Dome!
In the center of the Silver Tower.
The Silver Dome!
Mummy.
You're all just a bunch of cocks. Now,
You be careful saying that and going somewhere that might actually happen.
2 cogs. you seem to just play with a little nimbus of power on his finger.
What
Tempting.
the fuck did Teclis teach you?
I'll show you.
Tempting, but no. So, here is your choices. You may exit the room via north, south, east, west or west.
West or west?
West or west.
They're double wests.
It's west or west. The 5th. Look, see, look. This isn't difficult. Good grief. Is this really where you're going to get stuck?
It's the hill I'm prepared to die on.
There's no hill. There's just passages.
So there's 2 on the west side.
Yes, there's west and west.
I turn to look and check.
All the points of the compass.
He's right,
North,
you know.
south, east, west and west.
What if I want to stand still and not play your game?
Then, the photograph that's coming down the passageway will probably tear you limb from limb. I'll warn you, I keep jumping out at him. He's spooked and full of skulls. From the passageway, you do hear this sound and skulls rattling. Rattle.
I may not know you, but I bow to your rank on this one, Relictor. I will follow.
We should head more west.
More west. Which of the wests? You mentioned two wests.
All west. We're going to go all west.
All west.
Yeah, because we can go west, all west.
We're going to go all west.
All west.
Take that one, C.H. Lewis. C.H.
Gonna go west and have some fun. Go west. The portcullis opens on the west. On the or west passageway. Please begin the trials.
Who's to step through the door first?
I'll go first. I've got a hammer.
Sword out, I follow.
You go through this slime-encrusted, mucky version of the passageways that you've seen already. There's none of the glow of the Silver Tower that you've come to realise is part of the architecture. It's, as you go along, there's a smell, a decaying smell, something very off-putting, like rotten meat mixed with a baby's diaper, and it's getting stronger as you're going. In front of you, you see a light. Chris, you get the first shot because you are highest in rank. So it goes Chris, James, Chris.
Okay. I step tentatively towards the light.
The smell
Out
hits
of-
you.
Tentatively.
The smell hits you like a physical blow.
Well, there's no spot hidden in this, so it's like, I don't know what I say. Do I just...
Can I know that this is Nurgle's filth in this room?
You can indeed.
I voice that to the group. There is Nurgle's taint in this room.
Chaos! Smash them asunder!
Stench of chaos.
The noise from the putrid, horrible, green, smoke-encrusted room that stinks like Bigfoot's dick comes at you. It comes at you in waves. The stench, oh God, the stench. It is like the smell when you've been drinking the night before, thrown up during the night, not realised and awoken to those same slime-encrusted sheets. It is a smell of pure and utter humility.
I'm just glad there's no whirligig passage in this yet.
In the background, you just hear a voice, "It's still early, you bastards!" So, the room is covered in smoke. There's vapours coming from the ground. You can't see anything past the first few feet.
The growl we heard, is that coming from ahead of us?
Yes.
So there's something, we can guess there's something roughly ahead of us.
Can I illuminate this room a little bit, as my standard is permanent cackling source of energy and lightning?
Would you like to roll?
Be a 6. That's close enough.
Yeah, it's a 5, yeah. You put your standard out dramatically, and the smoke begins to peel away from it. It's like a celestial light just burns through it, like sun through a morning mist.
Fucking things are magnificent.
In the centre of the room, you see 5 hulking shapes, creatures that defy expectation. They have the armour of the Chaos Warriors of Nurgle. They look wrong, misshapen though. Not in the way that you expect Nurgle, the Chaos Warriors, to look. They just don't look quite how you would imagine, or from your experiences, how you think they should look.
The God Summoner takes a break to chase the feline terror that has entered the chamber. The God Summoner is being mauled.
It was his squeak of, "Don't tell me off."
Hero wins.
We can all see these shapes then that his glorious light is illuminated.
Yes, yeah, you can all see them.
Magnificent.
Magnificent light.
They haven't noticed you yet. They seem to be hunched over something, doing something very strenuous.
Gentlemen. We can tell they haven't noticed us, yes?
Yes.
Gentlemen. I hold up my elvish fingers and allow a little bit of power to cackle across them. Eldritch Blast. Eldritch Blast.
Chaos scum! Charge! I sprint full kilter.
As he does that,
I'll follow
fire
up
a
like a
blast at
teeny,
them.
I like a teeny tiny sneer at the tiny little lightning bolt between his fingers. Yeah.
Alright, so, roll.
I would like to do it at the one the one closest to us as well.
Okay, so roll. So you need 3 or more for it to fire.
No, fuck me.
Your hand is enveloped by the power that you've just tried to unleash. By enveloped, I mean there's a smell, a charred, burning smell,
Bastard!
as you then try to stamp on your own hand.
Fuck me! Fucking fire! Hell, fire!
Tekla spent too much time teaching me to make 2 cocks.
The noise allows one of the creatures to turn. As you're charging forward, Relictor, your sword... Sorry, it's a hammer, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's your hammer in the air, ready to smash down upon the undead, upon the Chaos Warrior's filthy face. You notice that it is not a human face. It is not even a diseased human face. It is the face of a pig. And the pig says to you, "Meow," as it launches forward in its giant armor, reaching one trotter hand out and says, "There, for the swan man of Nurgle."
Cast Lightning Storm.
Okay.
Can I ask, what's our loot and actions here?
Oh, it's just as you do in your turn.
Okay, that's cool.
Beautiful. No. Your hammer, the power is unleashed from you. It doesn't just hit the pigman in the face. It melts the face off, carrying the skull about 3 foot behind it. Its body drops. The other swine men turn and say,
With my failed attack previously, I
Mm-hmm.
don't know how you'll work this one as well. It'll be up to you. On the Stormcast closest to the enemy,
"Yep."
I would like to cast Hand of Glory.
More pieces.
You're in for some good times, Relictor.
So it's one of those ones where you go.
Yeah.
So it'll be up to you how you roll.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. So it basically you just be able to do that at any point.
Alright.
Not even during your own turn, you can do it.
So also before I do it to him is going because he's closest to them.
Yeah.
So I do it to him now.
Yes.
What do you want me to do to achieve it?
If you roll, you need more than the 3.
Motherfucker!
You have now given Chris a -1 to all of his hits.
I'm sorry.
Elf! Stop helping!
You are truly a son of Teclis.
Shouldn't use magic.
Son of Teclis.
Shouldn't use magic. Shouldn't use magic in this. Each help it.
Chris,
Inspired by the...
Sorry, this is going to happen a lot.
I didn't say A.
Yeah, Chris won. I'm going to say it.
I know that's why I didn't say A. Right,
Vexilio.
inspired by the charge of my Lord Relictor, I'm going to try and ride the Tempest. So Asgard myself straight up and then back down right in front of him. Well, they go up and come crashing down in a ball of lightning, don't they? So Asgard, I'm going nowhere. Right.
the electricity stumbles around your body. It fizzles, cackles, and then launches itself forward, hitting a small bit of water that has just been dripping onto the floor. The electricity shoots along the water to where the elf is standing. The elf is blown off his feet. At least your hand is no longer on fire.
No.
Can I follow that up with a rather strange look at my staff and just... I'll get a few new batteries and put them in.
I deflect that shot.
Roll.
I guess it's just me tonight. I'd like to summon someone else.
Your hand reaches forward whilst you're in midair, taking the brunt of the explosion, and then you realise as you fly through the celestial being that is the Silver Tower, you think, I should have done this before it hit.
Very well. Yeah, where are we at now?
The swine men turn. As they turn, you can see that they are wearing dirty, encrusted, rotten armour. They, for all intents and purposes, look like they are wearing the armour of some highly decorated Nurgle warriors. They all turn. Their big, hairy faces are all covered in pustules and oozing ore. One of them has an eye that is slowly but surely splitting into 2. There are giant tusks, yellow and rotten. They look at you and put their heads down.
How many are dead? Sorry, two out of 5.
Again?
You said two out of 5 are dead.
One.
Lightning through one into
Yeah.
another one.
No, you just blew his head right off.
Okay.
So his head went flying.
So still fall.
Yeah, still fall.
Okay, sorry.
What's our distance, please? Because he's legged it forward, but I'm still here. Me and him.
We're on your half.
We didn't get up there.
What are you worried about
We didn't
distance?
fucking move. What's that mean? Like, we didn't fucking move, because if I was to get up and run at them, do we have to...
You're about 12 foot away from where
Oh.
these two are.
Alright.
They're about 3 foot away from where Chris A is.
Get up, you live motherfucker.
The 3 of the swine men turn, and with a noise, they charge forward. One stays in the centre of the room, continuing to do whatever it is he's doing. The first one
He's eating the ground.
The first one slips. Good God. The first one slips head first into the electrified water.
I win! Protect us!
How's health working in this? Does he like lost health because he's...
Oh yeah, what?
No, I'll let you know when health is lost.
Okay.
His face smashes into bits. The corroded armour he is wearing must be full of salt water, for he is sitting there frying quite happily.
Forsooth, they're made of dust.
The second one...
You're playing like a lame elf. It's like, what's up? I'm an elf.
The second one runs towards Chris, his trotter fist clenched into a big,
Renacama.
knuckly ball.
Renacama.
Rope.
Piss.
I mean, forsooth!
Is John Hannah
Sounds!
sponsoring your laundry league?
You shouldn't have said that. You shouldn't have said that.
No,
The
it says John
knuckle
Hannah.
trotter hits you full blown in the face, knocking you from your feet.
Blimey.
As you fall, you hear a horrible sound. Zip. And this stream starts to fall upon your face.
He's pissing on your face.
I'm not having that.
The third one. The third one is running towards the Velixor. That's all he's doing. He's just running through. He's very obese, this one. He's just wobbling towards you.
Waddling.
Yeah.
Is he panting like the fat rhino from Jumanji? Keep up with him. Good.
If you listen very carefully, you can just hear him going. Chris,
Lightning storm.
go.
I approve of the successive use of
Oh, no. I use Relic Hammer because if I use Lightning Storm, I might electrify the piss stream that's on me. And because you...
It'd be like pissing on an electric fence.
Oh, yeah, because the metal would encase me, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, God, let's do Lightning Storm. By the way, if these dice don't stand up, I'll count shenanigans if this is a one. But these are clearly some kind of
I rolled 3
gypsy loaded dice.
Yes! The electricity does indeed follow the stream of the piss. It follows the stream into the pigman. There is a moment of confused pain, and the pigman explodes into gibbets, much like the sound of a paper bag full of mushy peas being hit against a wall. As gore rains down upon your once nice shiny armour. This is room 1.
I pull myself to my feet.
Shake my limbs down.
So shake my limbs down. And I shake the hand off. And I point the hand at the snuffling pigman.
Mm-hmm.
And I attempt another Eldritch Blast.
Okay.
Motherfucker, I hate these dice. I hate these fucking... 3 plus!
The Eldritch Blast fires forward into the pigman. It carves a hole through him. The armour, although solid, seems quite brittle. It just goes right through, leaving a actual chunk of pig flesh just hanging out the back. It's a weird thing to see. It's like a skin plug that's just fallen out of his back.
I mean, I hit him. You all saw I hit him.
I was shaking my staff, I'm sorry.
I did that whole...
He looks at you with a moment of confused, horrible realisation and falls forward.
As the fat obese pig man is charging me down, I'm going to put my staff to one side, draw my warhammer, and I'm going to lob it right at his face.
May the dice be good for you.
Bang on.
Fucking hell. The hammer doesn't as much hit him as hit a point 6 foot behind him, carrying a crumpled ragdoll with it. It hits the wall and slides down. A smear of grease, blood, and ichor, just leaving a nice little snail trail as he falls to the ground.
Beautiful. Love it.
There is still one in the middle. The one in the middle, you can now see, is just moving the giant paddle around a cauldron that's set deep into the floor. He just keeps turning it. But he's looking at you now like, oh, shit. This is not good. Grandpa will not be pleased. Can't be stopped. He then looks up and just goes, and throws himself into the cauldron.
He's chucked himself in the cauldron.
He's struck himself into the
How
cauldron.
big is this cauldron?
Oh, it's big. You realise that all of the pig men had the paddles in them and were just walking round in circles.
Ass paddles?
I killed him. Did you kill one? I killed him and he killed the other one.
You didn't?
We got when the last one chucked himself into the cauldron.
Ah.
So there's a
I
cauldron.
mean, the sheer terror of facing us in combat. Even though my Warhammer's 12.
Right. Right.
And I set fire to my own hand and...
So,
I left one of the lights on upstairs because I don't know how haunted your house is. But I'll assume very.
yes. Yeah.
Err on the side of caution. Anyway, the Lord Renekton returns! So everyone's dead then.
Well, the dude chucked himself in the cauldron. Is the cauldron doing anything?
No, he's just sitting there bubbling, making the smell.
I guess I'll just get up first because I'm still on my ass, aren't I?
I think...
Do we get a crystal now? Where's the gaunt summoner? Summoner!
I think we should do something to the cauldron, but I'm not sure what. Any ideas about what we should do to the cauldron? Nurgle's foul stink is definitely in this room, as we've established, and that reeks of Nurgle. Reeks of Nurgle.
Could electrify the fuck out of it. that's about a general answer for most things.
I don't want to be the first one to crack, but we could eat
the
the elf.
We eat the elf.
Put him in the pot and see what happens. There's no reasoning with the machinations of chaos. I mean, maybe this is what they want.
It's only 8:15. I say we give it till 9, and if we've not completed it and got the 5 crystals, we eat the elf.
I'm very stringy.
That's
Yes,
fine.
you are. Useless in combat.
I would require hours of slow cooking.
Kincaid's original thoughts of you have gone up. His first thought was incompetence, sheer incompetence. You moved up to semi-competent. I've seen you do something. My first thoughts of the Lecter were incredibly brave or incredibly foolish, but I have just seen him kill a man through his dick with a lightning bolt. So you have now gone up to must tell this story to Sigmar, wink wink.
Tell this story to Sigmar.
Sigmar, he's a fucking legend. Honestly, big dick.
I say we could lightning bolt the cauldron, or we could go for the much simpler method of just tipping the fucker over and spilling...
It's set into the ground.
Oh, it's actually in the ground.
Yeah. So you can't see what's happening to the cauldron because it's actually underneath the floor.
Perhaps you would like to take a piss into it.
Do you know how hard it is for a Stormcast to piss?
It takes me 3 hours to get out of this.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Would that help a cauldron of Nurgle if you peed in it?
How good is my lore?
We should put something...
How good is my knowledge of chaos?
We should put something pure in it.
I'm a lore
something-
master.
I want you to roll 2d6.
Something good.
I'm a lore
something
master,
live.
but it doesn't mean that my lore knows what
We're gonna cook him.
8.
Right. So you've got a 50% chance here. You're thinking to yourself, now, you are very righteous, so your stream of righteous fury might clean the foul, noxious brew. But on the other hand, is all of the toxins being pushed out of you. That might make the brew worse.
I explained
What does a
this exactly as she
Stormcast
put it.
eat? Do they even eat?
Thunder.
Evil, violence,
Well, if
No,
I eat violence, then I would pee out nice, because that would be filtered.
I think
If
they,
I-
I do think they eat food.
Okay, right.
I'm sure it's fruit and other vegetarian foods.
So it'd be probably quite nice piss that doesn't smell.
Yeah, maybe.
So
Also,
Nurgle wouldn't like it too much.
also Sigmarines.
Stormcast.
Also Stormcast. Is it not likely, due to the capricious nature of the summoner, The gem we seek is in Nurgle's cooking pot.
It all has to be drunk. Someone get me a shell. No.
two shells in.
No more, Harry. Nah. You say it's like set into the ground. You can't touch the liquid. It's like sealed over.
No one's had to look over the side to see how far down it is.
Okay, we
Peer over.
approach cautiously and peer in.
It's about a foot down to the lip of the cauldron. Inside is a luminous green and purple swirling liquid.
Is there any noticeable sources of light or anything?
No, it looks like it's self-illuminating. Yeah.
I pick up one of the paddles that's been left,
Mm-hmm.
and I have a quick jab about, like,
notice-
gingerly.
You notice as you pick up the paddle starts to whisper to you. It says,
I throw the fucking paddle in the fucking cauldron.
"That's rude!
Double wood! What the hell are you doing, you son? He was talking to me! It said hello!
Aren't elves supposed to be like, oh, the tree's talking to me? Maybe he's struggled.
There's a difference between a tree and a paddle in
Listen,
a
I
rotten
understand.
corridor.
I understand it's your religion. but Come on.
That tree's been through some hardship in life to become a paddle. At least
That-
do is give it some
That
sympathy.
wood was the devil.
I'll try and pick up a paddle. Does anything happen?
Hello.
Yeah.
Not so clever now!
It wasn't taking the piss. It's really talking.
Can we hear it
Hello?
from afar?
no.
Hello,
Are you still holding it?
paddle.
Hello? How are you?
We're not terribly well. I've been better.
Oh, what's the problem? What's happening?
Well, I was killed in a horrible battle, and then I was hammered on an anvil for 1,000,000 years,
He's talking to a paddle.
and now I'm in this crazy tower with all of this crazy chaos stuff.
Oh, that sounds horrible. Would you like to sit down and talk to me about it?
I would like to talk about crystals. Have you seen any crystals around you?
Oh, I have actually, yes.
Tell us of the crystals, paddle.
Oh, it's in the pig.
The crystal is within the pig.
It is within the pig, yes. He ate it.
Which pig?
Don't understand that. Oh, sorry, he can't point.
No.
The one that's in the cauldron.
There's a pig in the cauldron.
There's a pig in the
Threw
cauldron.
himself in.
Oh yeah, sorry, I missed that. I was peeing. I didn't say that. That's what I did.
It's because we
It's his
embellished the
method.
story. We were like, we killed them all, it's fine, but one of them actually didn't do himself.
And then I stroll in the room like, hey guys.
Sorry, I was peeing. It's been so much urine.
Right, I dropped the paddle. Right, the paddle says it's inside the pig.
The fellow that chucked
That
himself
fell in the cauldron.
pot.
Yes,
Right.
it's within him.
So what do we do?
We have to get the pig out. Oh God, he's still alive.
Was there bubbles accompanying
Oh,
that?
yes.
Well, he's in there then. Do any of these pigs have swords or anything like that?
They all have big scimitars, big, rusty, horrible scimitars.
I have my massive fucking standard. I can.
Well, I wouldn't think you
Give
want
him a
to
prod.
sully. I was going to suggest we stab something in there, but I wouldn't want to sully your
The
standard.
standards can't be solid. They can't be dirtied or anything.
Well, I learn something new about Sigmar every day.
Yeah, so I can bash it in. And,
Bash away.
yeah, go on then. We'll stick it in and try and.
You stick the standard in. Where the standard goes, the liquid seems to try and recoil from it.
That's what we want.
Tries to get away. At the bottom, you see the twitching corpse of the swine man. It's just starting to turn. Bits of its flesh are turning different colours. Its arms are slowly elongating and mutating. Its eyes are becoming on stalks. Its teeth are growing larger.
It's the thing!
I'm going to send a massive electrical charge through. I realise that putting a massive electrical charge into a big pool of water is probably a poor idea,
Or an
but
excellent idea.
I succeed. Successful.
Well, that next encounter's not happening. Before the creature can turn into a full-blown chaos spawn,
Cover
it
your
is
eyes.
fried within an inch of its life. Its body decays very quickly, and at the very bottom of the cauldron lies a small golden jewel.
Pick up the stick and scoop it out.
What rank are you? Sorry, it's Stormcast.
Vexillary. So I, if you're the general that leads the army into battle, I wield the battle standard.
Good work, Bannerman. A fine job.
Thank you, my lord.
Who's going in to get it then? I'd like to submit to the elf.
Have you still got your
I'm
standard
not
down
as
there?
protected from curses, you guys.
So as long as your standard is in the cauldron, the liquid tries to keep as far away from it as possible.
Cool.
We should use the banner as a sort of spoon.
Up in you go.
I've seen this game before.
Is the spoons in the fluff?
It's a spoon.
The edge of the staff of the banner is not curved enough to scoop it out.
So you're saying we're going to have to flick? A flicking motion.
Or
you
use
could
two paddles as like
reach in.
chopsticks, maybe.
I got the two paddles.
Get in the pot.
Hello.
I ignore the paddles.
Hello.
As the paddles are talking to me,
Why are you ignoring us?
30 seconds.
with pincer at the stone.
But we're Psych Hollywood.
I'm not listening to you.
Why do you not like to talk to Psych Hollywood?
Grab the stone.
Ask them if they can help you pick it up.
Can I just grab him and
I pick the stone.
Roll. Hello, what's going on here? Whee!
2.
You slightly nudge him.
I stumble a bit and go, bang. You go in there and you're covered in armour. I'm
So you
wearing
said it's set into the floor, we
covered
can't
shit.
tip it.
I'm wearing like an elaborate dress.
That in itself is a reason for you to get in.
This will not protect me from what is essentially a poisonous sludge. Give me enough.
I can't let my standard go, and I'm keeping the liquid at bay. And my
I'll
lord,
reach in and get it.
my lord is too noble for such a task.
It's
So.
too low down for you to just reach in. Someone either has to go down or you have to find some way of scooping it out.
And you
I
really
was
thought.
trying to scoop with the pincers.
Hello
I'm completely unsuccessful with my 2 wooden pincers.
Roll. Oh, would you like to tell us about your childhood?
5.
Oh, you scooped it out. Is there anything you'd like to talk to
I
us
take one of the paddles and I break it over. I take the other paddle and I break it over my knee and I say, filthy, filthy wood, and I throw it in the cauldron.
Can you legitimately do that? Are you strong enough to break paddles?
Shall we try?
Roll.
I can't see an elf.
Paddle
I
one?
just see one.
6.
Well, that is snapped in half.
Paddle 2.
You fucking fury.
4.
Yep. One is instantly snapped in
I'm
half.
sorry,
the other one
I
takes a
don't-
couple of attempts.
But it goes.
I'm sorry, I doubted your manly frame.
To be continued.